Step it up to the new Reverb B1. I'm so stoked. Can't wait to get this thing out there. I actually already did, and that's one of the beautiful things about this video. I'm just really going to show you what I did. It's tried, tested, and I really went out there and rocked it. So I know it all worked. I've looked at different websites from SRAM to other sites out there. There's some confusing things, and I'm going to help you just do this and get out there riding, ride the chaos. Okay, so I just went with the same one that came on my Nomad. There's a lot of Nomads out there, but this one is mine. I love it. So basically I kept to the same size and everything like that. You're going to need to know the diameter of your seat post, the length, etc. You guys are probably passionate cyclists like me. I'm going to save a lot of the little parts so that you can just get out there. But some key things to know. I love myself marking my seat before. Marking the seat on the rails with a wax pencil so it comes off. People use different things, but I mark it so I know where it's at. I also am going to, when I take out my Reverb, I'm going to mark where it was. This is my first Reverb, and you can see I have it already. I know exactly where, and they have the measurements for you, where that's going to be, so that I can easily, once I get the Reverb out of the box, once again, this is my old first generation Reverb, match it up exactly so that I have my seat exactly where I want it to be. I put my seat on first. One of the cool things I did about this was I actually put a standard seat post non-dropper. So just to have in your snap bag. One of the beautiful things about this new Magic locking system is that if I get out there, I think you probably have been out there too, with different dropper seat posts. You get out there, you get on the trail, and it's a bummer. It's not working. I got this thing in my trunk. I can just unclick this very simply with just a 6 and a 9 millimeter crescent wrench, and I could take this out. I got my collar. I like having a collar. A lot of people don't like the quick release because of the weight. I like it. I could pop it out, disconnect it, pull the tubing out, and put this guy in it, and I get that ride in with my buddies, and I don't have to be a fool with no dropper seat post. Anyways, let's get to how it comes in the box. All right, so you get this beautiful baby in the mail or at your bike shop. Support local businesses. What'll happen is, this is actually my old one. It's going to come connected. It's going to come with the Magic Link connected, and it's all pre-bled. That's a beautiful thing. We're going to also talk about how you cut. This is how much extra hole I had left in the line. So we're going to talk about that too. It's easy. Don't be overwhelmed. So basically what's going to happen is you get it like this out of the box. In your box, they're also going to have a small amount of Reverb oil. They're going to have a T10 and a T-Torx 25, kind of an Allen key. You might want to throw this in your camel pack. And a bleed kit. Wow, these things are like 25 bucks on their own. A bleed kit and also some little doohickeys. I choose to just get a bigger bottle of this. We're going to talk about bleeding on a separate segment as well, because we didn't have to do it because we did it so well today. I prefer to use these Torx T25 and T10 screwdrivers because I feel like you just get a better feel. Some people are going to want to use a torque wrench. I think I could just feel this one out. I didn't use one. I have that Midas touch, not the anti-Midas touch where you just make it a little bit too, you go a little bit too gusto on it. What else do you need? To the tools. Cutters. I really like to have a real pair of cutters for bicycles. You can go with the utility knife and then the scratch owl to clean out your tube at the end. Maybe if you have a big ride the next day or with some friends and you have to do it in a pinch, I would do that. But to tell you the truth, we're going to be working with a system that's pre-bled. And if you do this correctly, you don't have to bleed it. So I would definitely get one of these. They're super important. The next one you need is a 6 and a 9 millimeter wrench. I'll show you why you need these. One of the things I found very confusing from other information in the manual was where to exactly use these, and I thought people gave me bad information when if you put them in the right places, you need a 6 and a 9, 69, and you're good to go. I like to use wax pencils for my rail and red for the black cable, and when you don't have your wife, a friend, a buddy around, these can come in handy. A little Velcro strip. Safety first. You need to have eye protection, and you need to have the gloves, the nitrile gloves. Why? Because this thing might squirt, and it is hazardous. I'm not going to use them today because I already did this, tried, tested, and approved. Okay, so let's get down to basically what I did. So the first thing I did, like I talked about, was I put my seat on. I upgraded, got a new one. It's always good to get a new saddle. Plus, it looks so smooth. Anyways, so I had my seat already on the seat post, and let me show you what I did. Now, one of the things when you were removing your old Reverb, you probably noticed is that sometimes you need to turn the seat in order to get enough length out of the cable, and just gingerly pull it back. So basically what I did was, to get this puppy out of the box, you're going to need to take this off, and you want to do it the right way. Now, when I was looking at this, I got very confused about the 6 and the 9 millimeter parts. Basically, the 9 is going to attach right at the top, right here, right at the top of this housing that is kind of like a quick release type of engagement. You're going to put the 9 millimeter there, one, and then right here is where you put the 6. So let me show you really quick. I'm going to put the 9 on top, right here, and then I'm going to put the 6 here, and then I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to break the seal. So once I break that seal, it's going to go apart like that, and then once I feel that tension release, I could set these two guys down, and then I could just manually disconnect this guy. And it's just about this much. It's really easy. You go ahead and unthread it, and you see how no oil came out? That's awesome. That's the magic system, the magic lock system. Okay, now I set this one down as if it's my new one, and then what I'm going to do is I am going to check out my position on this. There's a lot of different ideas. Some people like to take a right-handed one and put it on the left, since I don't have a big chain ring up front, and they're going to put it like so and feed it around through. This is a left on the left side. I believe the engineers, I believe the test riders have done so much experimental stuff. These by themselves are $150. So I'm going to go with what they said, and I really like the ergonomics of how this left on left, just the way it came. Left on left, I'm not going right, switched under, like some people are talking about right now. It's up to you. You got to find out what you want to do. Try your friend's bike, maybe figure it out from there. Okay, anyhow, what we're going to do is, you can see it's already fed through. Santa Cruz is really good about this. I just fed it through. I was worried like an electrician. Do you have to, have a fishing line to pull it out? No. I just fed it through, and it popped right up the seat post as so. It actually popped up a lot. I had a lot of extra when it popped out. But anyways, after that point, using my T10, depending on how you're going to have this, you're going to screw it in and attach it. And then once it pops up through the collar, then what you're going to do is you're going to, as if this is the seat post that's already attached, I'm just going to, depends on how much extra you have. I was able to, because I had enough extra, lean it on my bike grip. Then this is coming back around and through up the collar. I push it, and it's beautiful. You just push it like so, and then I go ahead and screw it on with my fingers until it really goes. You don't want to cross thread, and be real careful of that. Going through, and then it's snug. Once again, I take my 6 and my 9, and it's so nice because with the extra cable, you just go like rest it here. You could do it by yourself. And then I'm going to take my 6, and then I'm going to go the other way and just back it off a little bit more. And you want to get that, okay, that's good. Don't over tighten it. Tighten it just enough. And I'm going to go ahead and set those guys down. And then imagine that this is in here, and now it's all connected. Just for speed's sake, to go through this, imagine I have, and basically what I did do was I had this much extra. So I had it up here in a loop. Then I gave it a good test ride. Around, just up and down the street to make sure everything was working. Then I took my buddy here, the Rasta man, when you don't have one around. And I just went ahead and I clipped it like this. And then what I want to do is I want to test it. So I'm going to pick it up and I'm going to turn it and make sure that you have enough clearance with the wrap around here. And then I'm good. I like it. I'm going to take my red marker and or my red wax pencil, and I basically just held up this line exactly to where the mechanism is, and I made a little line with that. And then once again I tested it again to make sure I had the right wraparound clearance. And then I'm going to come up with my cutters. And let's say I have this, well, let's go ahead and do it this way. One of the things I also did was I like having lint-free rags for things, making sure I don't have any of this reverb oil on anything. But I went ahead and put one on here when I was actually doing this. I'm going to take these little cutters and put them in my pocket for a moment. And then I have it marked. I remove my little everything and I take it out, and then I'm going to have this extra, let's say. When I have this extra, I put it back actually on this, I luckily had this road bike hanging behind me, and I put on this carabiner, and I wanted to keep it as high and level as possible when I did the actual cutting. I came around because I didn't want to drip any of this, and I didn't want to lose any of the reverb oil or put any air in the line. So then I went ahead and I cut it. Once I cut it, then I was able to screw in the new fixture. So let me talk about the fixtures. I got to backtrack a little bit because we're actually not doing this in real time. Now, all you need to do is you're just going to hold on to the housing of the cable and then rotate this back and back it out. There's a little tap, like a tap screw that goes into there that is threaded. That's going to be a male fitting, and you're just going to keep easing it out, easing it out. I don't want to do it on this one. You're going to ease it out. Then what I'm going to do is I'm going to set my remote on here, and then I'm going to come back. Now imagine that there's not a remote already on here. I'm going to take my cable and I'm going to screw this back in. Same way I took it out, screw it back in. You don't want to over tighten it. Remember, we don't want to have that anti-Midas touch. You'll know when it's snug. It's not a brake lever. It's not that much pressure. And then I'm going to go ahead and put my remote where I want it. And I'm going to use my T25 Torx wrench. And I'm going to tighten it as I did here. You should probably use the specifications of the manual that you have. I just went by feel and it was solid. I got that in there and put it back in my tool tray, and then it's time to see if this baby works, and it's going to. I really like the ergonomics of where I put it. I push it down, it's solid, you let go, boom, and then good power. If you have a little bit of sponginess here, or if you don't have it rise up that fast, you got air on the line, and then you got to bleed it. We'll do that in our next segment. Okay, so it's tried, tested, and it rocked. It did beautifully, and I know you will do a beautiful job too. some of the things I like to do to wrap it up. I took my old Reverb and I'm going to wrap this puppy, and I'm possibly going to rebuild it, or maybe we'll make that another segment. But for a rainy day, I like keeping this in my snap bag in case, you never know, things happen and you want to be able to enjoy the trail, especially if you drive off to a remote location. Remember too, although I was not doing this in real time, use your gloves, use your glasses, your safety glasses, because it can squirt. That stuff is not healthy for you if you get it in your eyes or on your skin. So make sure you use those and have a beautiful ride. You did it. It wasn't that bad. And ride the chaos.